Hi, hello. Before we start this video, I'd like to say a quick thanks. My last few videos have been getting more attention than I ever thought I would anytime soon, and I just want to say thank you for everyone that watched my videos. Thank you for all the likes and the sub, and thank you for all the support in the comments. I really appreciate that. I hope I can make more videos in the future and improve my content because I think that I have a long ways to go still, both in commentary and editing, and I'm doing all this myself obviously. But I still want to say thanks. I really appreciate it. This is a nice gesture to see from, I guess, from everyone that watched my videos and all the comments and likes and helps. And thank you so much. I hope I can live up to your expectations in the future. But with that aside, thank you again, and let's get into the video. Welcome to Grand Fantasia Origin. Initially, I was going to download and play Grand Fantasia, not Origin, the original game. It's a very old anime MMO that I remember playing as a wee little kid, and I wanted to revisit it for a video, and that's why we're here, really. So I googled about it, and I wanted to download it because I know it's not on Steam. It used to be on a separate website platform, whatever, and you had to download it. It apparently had a re-release this year in September. I had no idea there was a re-release at all, and I just had to download it and try it. So here we go. Strap yourself in, buckle up, grab some snacks, and enjoy it because it's a wild little ride right here. I started the game up, and it was blasting music at max volume, and I couldn't change it anywhere. I couldn't find a settings button or anything. It was just blasting music constantly, so I simply had to continue log in with my mail, which I didn't really enjoy doing, but I did it anyways. I simply had to choose a world/server now. Initially, the game only presented me with 3 server choices. I didn't really know what to pick since half of them, actually 2 of them, were in some sort of Asian language. I couldn't read it. And the rest was in English, but I couldn't really tell what I was choosing. The servers had time zones, and I don't really know why. Maybe because I should pick the time zone that's relevant to me so I can play, but I don't know what people from what time zones are playing, so it's not really like a good choice. I don't know. I choose the only English server that I could, not like I had a choice. And then I started making my character. And well, character customization, it's alright. Decent settings. Obviously, it's anime-centered graphics, so I just made an anime girl. Why not? You also get to make a little sprite companion, and I named him Goober. Why not? He's a little goober. Then you had to pick class previews, which I don't think actually did anything for my class, but I just looked through the class previews and they look kind of neat, I suppose. 2 of them looked like they were copies of each other, just reskin, but no, they kind of look cool otherwise. I remember loving looking at previews as a kid, but I realized they don't do anything because they're previews, obviously. And then this cinematic played. After that cinematic, I went into the game and I grabbed the first World of Warcraft S quest and started playing. Kill X amount of boars. Oh, sorry. Jelly, rabbit thingies, whatever. And here we go. Combat! Well, as you saw, the combat is quite old school MMO-esque, auto fighting with the use of abilities, but yeah, it felt a bit stiff and even not that satisfying. Something that kept getting on my nerves while I was doing this whole tutorial island was the constant world event announcement. Look at this. Yeah, it was spamming, and I edited a bit like this, but it was actually constant, like several times every 2 minutes. Like, ugh. Either way, controls were a bit wonky and janky at first. You could either use WASD, WASD, or mouse and keyboard, like just mouse actually, no keyboard, just mouse. Kind of hard to move with both, because they like would interfere with each other, and the movement was quite slow in general. I later found that you could actually teleport to every NPC and skip the whole movement, and I started doing that. And this was kind of a problem, and we'll talk about the whole teleporting later. But you can basically click on the quest marker and teleport to the area you need to be to kill monsters, or to the NPC you need to be, and you're just straight on top of it. I later tried pressing I for inventory, I for inventory. I didn't know it was B for backpack, it was I for inventory. But instead of getting a inventory, I was greeted with a cash shop. Fantastic, right? Wow. With the option to buy currency and cosmetics and, I don't know, boosters, I guess, it seemed like there was a lot. I didn't look through it. And this was obviously some sort of premium shop. I even saw that you could spend the real dollars on this. So yeah, I kind of just moved on. And I kept accidentally pressing I over and over again for inventory. And I kept being reminded that there's a cash shop. But I kept teleporting. And I eventually got to pick my class. I was initially thinking I'd be some sort of mage. I made my sprite companion mage gear focused. But I started skipping through every, dialogue, because I don't give a fuck about dialogues in general. So I started skipping, and I accidentally ended up picking a warrior class. Oh well, it happens, whatever. You later have subclasses for the warrior class, which you can spec into. I didn't come that far, but whatever. Then I had the boss fight, and here we go. Boss fight. Yeah. After that, I continued with the main story, MSQ. And when I was gonna leave the tutorial island, I got a pop-up urging me to spend money on the game. Fantastic. I refused it, of course, and I traveled somewhere. I don't know where, just anywhere. I had a choice of like 5 different places I could travel. There was no MSQ going anywhere. I had no idea what to do. So I kind of picked any place that sounded cool. And I kind of recognized this place from my childhood, I think, maybe. This looked kind of familiar. It was kind of nice. But it was a constant sound of gunfire. I was just greeted with a bunch of gunfire, which I didn't know where it was coming from. It was coming from like a 3D radius. It didn't stop, ever. it never stopped, unless I walked out of it, the whole area. So I did that, and I continued with my adventure. Nevertheless, I noticed that I'm suddenly one-shotting here, I think. Okay, why not? So I kept teleporting, back and forth. Every NPC, every area, boom, killing, picking, killing. Teleport, teleport, teleport. Wow, combat, amazing, right? But I played for a while. It was maybe like half an hour at this point. It's not that long, really. And I got this anti-bot captcha in-game that I had to solve. A captcha in-game. What? I was so confused. But I did it, and the game was like, cool, you get a buff for doing that, for being a human. And I was like, what the? It was, yeah, whatever. You remember how I talked about following the MSQ before? Yeah, I kind of didn't have an MSQ at this point. And I was very lost. So I kind of just went around, looked at the map, grabbed every quest I found, and I just started teleporting back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Just to, do things. And eventually I kind of stopped playing after about an hour of the game. Yeah, that is not a long time to play, but I was simply not gonna play a game where I had to teleport back and forth with this hella mediocre combat and super unintuitive world. Because I remember running around a lot in this game, and teleporting around just kind of killed it for me. And obviously, probably nostalgia in my head that made the game seem way better when I was a kid. Obviously, it probably did. The teleporting did not exist back then. If it did, I might have just been really stupid as a kid and not noticed it, but it wasn't great. I'm gonna leave a more deep dive version of this game to Josh Strife Hayes if he ever plans on doing a video on this game. He's a goat. I like his content sometimes and I watch it. It's good. But this video is more about it's very nostalgia driven. And well, I can say that the game feels about the same way I remember, but with way worse things to say. The combat is kind of the same, but it feels weirder and stiffer, like it's like maybe some sort of different engine or something. I don't know. I might just realize that the combat is shit at an older age. The graphics, I don't see a difference in the graphics. They might be better because I actually don't think the game looked this good or as good as I remember. Or maybe not, I don't know. But it looks as much as I remember it. Vibrant and kind of anime-ish. The addition of teleporting is not something I remember, as I said. That really gave me the ick. It felt like I was playing a mobile game or something. I do not want to be playing mobile games on my PC. That is a big red flag for me. Let's talk a bit more about teleporting, because it kind of ruins the game a lot. It ruins the world. As I said, I remember running around as a kid, exploring the whole tutorial island. I remember I was at the tutorial island for like hours, I think, as a kid. I didn't leave it for a really long time because you do get to do a lot of things, run around a lot, and explore a lot. It was really cool. Again, maybe I was super stupid and I didn't know there was a teleport, but I don't think so. The teleport really ruined it for me this time. It felt so insanely small, the whole world, and boring, which is of course not a good thing. You would like to explore what you get offered in this world, but in this, you just don't. There was also mounts in the game that you would get. You got a free mount, I guess trial mount for free, and then you could probably buy more mounts or get them somehow. But what's the point of mounts when you're just teleporting around? You know what I mean? It's like, what? What's the point? I obviously looked at Steam before and after, and the reviews are mostly negative, which is not good. I get why. And I don't think I can recommend this game to anyone, and I kind of agree with the negative review rating. So, well, here's my final thoughts, at least, of the game. The game is stiff, slow animations, and it does not feel good to play at all. The combat is weird, maybe has good variability end game. I'm obviously nowhere close to end game. That's kind of it. It doesn't feel too great to play. The teleporting makes the world feel extremely small and restricted, and that makes traversal boring and uninteresting. The world itself is a big part of an MMO, and you just skipping through it like it's nothing makes you, first of all, disoriented, and it makes the world just feel like garbage. So that's a big no for me. There's also an obvious cash shop where it also incentivizes the player to spend money in the game, and that just feels like the devs made the game into a cash grab, even though it's also already completely dead, basically. And I remember the original game was pretty damn dead already. When I would have revisited like maybe 5 years ago, it would have struggled. I know it changed platforms. It was first part of, I think it was Area Games or something, and then Area Games shut down, and then someone else bought up the game, and then it was already struggling after the shutdown, and yeah, it was a whole mess with the whole IP. And this re-release obviously tried to revive it somehow, but it sure seemed to backfire on the company and the game. So the game is dead. It will probably die completely in not too long. It will probably just remain a childhood memory for me. So you know what? Let me know in the comments what you think. Have you played Grand Fantasia before? The original? Or this? Have you played this? What do you think about this? Is it the first time you're hearing about it? Do you think you're gonna try it? You know what? Let me know in the comments. We can talk about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.